And here we will be giving you what you've been missing in the entertainment industry.
We will be hosting different guests, upcoming artists, as well as your favorite entertainers.
To motivate you, the youth, we will be bringing you youthful entrepreneurs who have made it in life.
Politically, you are in the right place. We will be bringing you the already established politicians. And to upcoming politicians, this is where your political career will be nurtured. Live only on LTV Kenya, the home of the best.
Indeed, LTV Kenya is home of the best.
Na mpendo wa mtazamaji mahali popote ulipo, kumbuka kwamba tutakuja kwako moja kwa moja kutoka studio zetu za LTV Kenya. Na jinsi ambavyo tutakwambia kila siku kwamba hapa ndipo mahali pa burudani na kila kitu ambacho ungependa kupata katika studio zetu. Na leo kama ilivyo desturi yetu, leo siku ya Alhamisi tutakuletea mahojiano katika sekta ya ualimu, na kila siku tutakuwa tunapiga darubini katika kila kona, tukuletea maburudiko, tutakuletea mambo ya kisiasa, tutakuletea mambo ya afya pia. Hivi leo katika studio zetu tuna mtangazaji mwenzetu Lilian Ondeo, amejiandaa vilivyo tayari kukuletea mahojiano kali kabisa kati ya walimu kutoka Migori County, walimu ambao wangependa serikali isikize kilio ama vilio vyao. Hivyo basi Lilian, na kusukumia gurudumu hili ili angalau uweze kulisukuma tena hadi wakati ambapo nitalichukua. Shukrani sana Lilian.
Na asante sana mwenzangu Felix kwa madokezo hayo muhimu, na kidogo leo na Kiswahili chako kimeweza kusoma. Na umenifurahisha jinsi ambavyo umeweza kutilia mkazo, kwa sababu ni kweli kando na mkazo katika LTV Kenya tunakupatia burudani ambayo hautapata mahali pengine popote. Kwa hivyo karibu mtazamaji, na kama ambavyo mwenzangu Felix aliweza kutangulia kutaja hapo awali, ni kwamba leo ikiwa ni siku ya Alhamisi, mazoea ni kwamba tunakuletea mahojiano kutoka katika sekta mbalimbali, na leo tunaangazia sana sekta ya elimu. Na pamoja nami nina walimu kama ambavyo Felix aliweza kutaja katika kaunti ya Migori, ambao ningependa waweze kuungana nami katika mahojiano ya leo. Na walimu, ningependa muweze labda kufahamisha watazamaji wetu wa LTV Kenya majina yenu. Labda tungependa kuanza hapa.
Asante Lilian. Kwa majina ni Bi Carol Juma. Mimi ni mwalimu kutoka shule ya upili ya Bielteza Complex ambayo iko katika jimbo ndogo la Sori, Nyatike yani, na ni jimbo la Migori. Mimi ni mwalimu wa Kiswahili na historia. Na ni mwanachama wa KUPPET pia.
Kwa sababu unapelekana nami hivi na hivi katika Kiswahili. Na mtuendelee, jina lako tafadhali.
Mimi ni Ken Boro. Mwalimu katika shule ya upili ya Faresa Loch Kanindo. Nafunza kemia na hisabati. Mimi ni mgombea kiti cha Executive Secretary katika eneo hili la Migori.
Vema.
Okay, mimi pia nafahamika kama Bwana Festus Obonyo. Mimi ni mwalimu wa hisabati na fizikia katika shule ya upili ya Nyarach katika jimbo ndogo la Rongo na jimbo Migori.
Utaniwia radhi Lilian.
Naam.
Moses Ayer. I'm a teacher and a unionist. I teach within Awendo sub-county in Migori. And I want to thank you so much for inviting me into this talk show. Thank you.
Naam, asanteni sana. Na leo mnapendeza, ikionekana kwamba katika mko na nafasi muhimu katika sekta hii ya elimu. Karibuni sana. Kwa hivyo mko tayari kwa ajili ya programu hii? Kabisa. Naam, karibuni tena. So, watazamaji wetu wa LTV Kenya, leo ni miezi 7 tangu janga hili la corona lipoingia nchini Kenya. Na janga hili lipoingia liweza kusitisha sekta mbalimbali au kuelekezea kuzorota kwa sekta mbalimbali ikiwemo elimu. Na walimu, mnaweza kubaliana nami kwamba kwa muda wa miezi hii 7 sekta ya elimu imeweza kurudi chini. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu mashule au masomo yaliweza kusitishwa. nchini Kenya, miongoni pia mataifa mengine ulimwenguni pote. Kwa hivyo na muda mfupi uliopita au tuseme majuma machache yaliyopita mliweza kuamriwa na Wizara ya Elimu muweze kurudi shuleni. Je, mnahisi kwamba mmesukumwa kurudi shuleni au ni ile ari iliyo ndani yenu ya kuweza kutekeleza wajibu katika sekta ya elimu? Je, mnahisi kwamba ni msukumo?
Thank you so much my sister Lillian for such a wonderful question. Let me say that personally I was not coerced to go back to school, but I can as well say that there are a few colleagues of ours who felt like they were forced to go back to school. The biggest challenge that teachers have had at the point of resumption to school was the level of preparation. You can find you would have found that maybe schools that were majorly in town setup, they were prepared, but the challenge came in prepared. So as an individual, I was even missing teaching. So I was prepared, I really wanted to be in class.
So wewe kwako unajaribu kumaanisha kwamba hauja feel your pressure?
No,
lakini pressure ipo.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. The pressure is there, but as an individual, that pressure was not there because I longed to be in school. Yeah.
Kwa hivyo wewe kurudi kwako shuleni haujahisi msukumo sana. Ile ari. Japo msukumo upo lakini kwako ni ari.
Yeah, there was I cannot deny that there is no pressure, but the pressure is there for a few colleagues that maybe have not cope up so well with the resumption of schools.
Okay. Maoni mengine labda kwako Ken.
Thank you very much Lillian. I want to say very categorically that teachers were not prepared to go back to school. Teachers
so were you prepared?
Personally, as a teacher, my preparedness to teach a class is perfect. I was prepared. But my security is my concern and has been my concern. I have the content of teaching mathematics, that is no big issue. I have the content of teaching chemistry, I don't have an issue. My issue is my safety. Now, and why are we saying this? Schools were closed on around 15th of March this year. And we have had several episodes regarding developments of education from that time to the time when the cabinet secretary was now announcing that we are going back to school. Before then, there were several reactions. The cabinet secretary even said that this academic year has been declared lost, if you can remember well.
I remember.
Immediately I heard that the academic year has been declared lost. I was prepared to go back to school in January 2021. So to that extent, when now the Ministry of Education and the TSC ordered teachers to go back to school, teachers were not prepared. And I want to say that we feel pushed. The other day I did an article about the challenge that we are now facing as teachers. We have seen the surge in the COVID-19 infections. And most schools were opened the way they were closed. In other words, there is nothing new. There is no new development. The Ministry of Education brought up some measures that they wanted us to put in place, working together with the Ministry of Health. But if you visit many schools today, those facilities are not there.
Does your school have one?
Well, I may not be in a position to speak on behalf of my principal, but I want to say
okay, confirm.
That,
don't speak.
Yes,
confirm.
that we almost opened the way we left it.
Okay.
Yes, because maybe what we can see, some bottles of sanitizers. I have not seen any running tap. I have not seen PPEs. Teachers are supposed to be buying their own masks, and that is not in our school alone. So that is telling you that we are not prepared.
Okay, Lillian.
Okay.
For me, I have a different opinion.
Yeah.
The reason being, we've heard in the news that there are schools that were running even during the corona break. So in such a case, do we really want to say that those schools were not prepared?
So yeye kutokana na maoni yake ametaja kwamba msukumo upo, lakini msukumo kwa njia gani? Wewe ulitaja msukumo ni ile pressure tu ipo, lakini wewe umerudi shuleni kwa sababu unahisi ni kana kwamba unahitaji kufanya.
Exactly.
Yeye ametaja msukumo wake ni kwa sababu aliambiwa kwamba shule zitafunguliwa Januari. Kwa hivyo akili yake mindset
let me help my friend first as in one.
Okay.
Maybe there is some term there in Swahili he didn't understand. Ari. Uliuliza kama alikuwa na Ari is excitement. Were you intrinsically motivated to go back to school?
Exactly. On my side,
ametaja.
Correct. Yeah. So the way we are looking at it is, I believe it's what is different. Festus as a teacher was prepared to go back to class.
Exactly.
As a teacher of mathematics and physics, was ready to go back to class. But what about the environment? That is the concern, right?
So that was my point. That was my point. I was saying, teachers were prepared. Could be it is the government that was not prepared. And that is my point.
Karo, acha tumsikize Bikaro. Je, unahisi kwamba kurudi kwako shuleni ni msukumo ama
asante sana Bi Lillian.
Naam.
Mimi nilikuwa na hisia mchanganyiko. Na nikisema hisia mchanganyiko namaanisha kwamba mwanzoni jinsi the CS alivyotangaza kwamba shule hazitafunguliwa tena, kwamba mwaka ulikuwa umepotezwa hivyo, nisema basi ipotelea pote. Nitangoja mpaka Januari ili nirejee shuleni.
Yako ni sawa na
lakini tukaja tukaagizwa kwenda shuleni tu mara moja. Bila kujitayarisha. Kwa kusema ukweli mimi ni binadamu. Sikuhisi vizuri. Sema mipango yangu yote nilikuwa nimeanza mikakati ya kufanya shughuli nyingine tofauti na elimu. Kwa hivyo nikahisi ni kama mipango yangu imesambaratishwa, na niliporejea shuleni sikuwa na ule moyo wa kutaka kukaa pale shuleni. Lakini kwa sababu mimi ni mwalimu ambaye napenda kazi yangu, niliingia na nikazamia pale kutekeleza yale majukumu.
Wanataja kukubali matokeo.
Lakini nilisukumika. Nilisukumwa. Kulikuwa na msukumo.
Kwa hivyo tutaje kwamba kwenda kwako shuleni ni shingo upande.
Ninaenda shingo upande.
Kwa sababu ulikuwa ushatoa kwanza elimu, sasa ukaweka ndani mambo tofauti ya kibinafsi tutaje. Kwa hivyo kwako ni msukumo.
Ni msukumo, lakini sisemi kwamba sina ile ari ya kutaka kuwa shuleni na kutekeleza yale majukumu yangu kama mwalimu, lakini kwa sababu serikali haikutupatia muda wa kujitayarisha wa kutosha. Kumbuka ile wiki moja ambayo tuliambiwa tuende shuleni ili tujitayarishe, wanafunzi waje wiki ambayo ingefuata, hatukupata muda mrua. Manake wenzetu ama wengine wetu tulikuwa tumeenda mashambani, wengine wetu tunaishi na familia mbali, tukawa tuko kule mbali na shule ambazo tunafunza. Kwa hivyo ili uhame na labda familia, urejee katika labda ile nyumba yako ambayo iko karibu na shule, inachukua muda. Hela pia unaelewa, huu msimu wa corona mambo yamekuwa hayakuwa yanaenda vizuri sana. Kwa hivyo kwa kiwango fulani hatukuwa tayari sana.
Kwa hivyo msukumo ni kwa njia ambayo hamkupewa muda wa kutosha kuweza kujipanga au hata kutoa akili kutoka katika mambo ya kibinafsi kuyarejesha katika sekta ya elimu. Bwana Moses.
Yes.
Kwako ni msukumo au ni kutoka moyoni?
Thanks again, Lillian. Going to school was a law. Yeah, there was nothing like preparedness. We were just told go to school. And even if you look at how the government through the TSC orchestrated the whole idea that you go to school, all our bosses, all our heads were told, submit the register by 11 a.m. On those who have reported to school. You see, I had no choice. I have a family to feed, and that salary is what they are banking on. See, now that one left me with no choice. You either do it, or you know TSC with disciplinary actions if you don't comply. So I had to report to school and then prepare from there. I can't lie, I was prepared. You know, you have to prepare schemes of work, you have to prepare lesson plans, you have to, and I can't say that as a teacher, I'm prepared all the times. Can I be making schemes of work, lesson plan in the house when I don't know when is this pandemic going to end? Practically speaking, I was prepared for January onwards. And this uncertain reopening of schools, especially for the candidate classes, has also disoriented some of new benchers I was taking advantage of. But here is the situation.
But
we have reopened schools, right? So what do I have to do? I have simply to now prepare and adjust pole pole. But even as I adjust, I have health and safety issues.
That is
why
right.
am I,
Yes.
why
Yeah,
am
that
I
is right.
feeling-
And that is my greatest fear.
Why am I feeling that we are not genuine? Because before the schools were reopened, all the teachers
who aren't genuine.
The three colleagues.
Your
the
colleagues.
three colleagues.
Okay.
Yeah, the
okay.
three colleagues. I have a feeling that before the schools were reopened, teachers were required to report to school. Actually, they reported 1 week before reopening, official reopening. That was adequate enough to ensure that all the teachers were ready for anything.
Wametaja kwamba haikuwa adequate. Angalia kama huyu ametaja na pia yule ametaja kwamba kila mtu ana majukumu au ana maisha ya kibinafsi kando na yale ya elimu. Kwa hivyo elimu ni wajibu. Pia maisha ya kifamilia au ya mtu kibinafsi ni wajibu kwa mtu mwenyewe, si ndio?
Yeah.
Kwa hivyo yeye labda ni mke ama mama, yeye ni baba, ametaja na watoto. Kwa hivyo labda umetoa familia yako mjini, umewapeleka mashambani kwa sababu ya hali ya corona. Si hata mlijionea katika vyombo vingi vya habari, watu walitoka katika maeneo ya mjini, au kwa sababu mahali ambapo unafunza si mahali ambapo unaishi huenda, si ndio? Sasa angalia iliweza kuharibu ama kudisrupt ile mazoea ambayo walikuwa miezi 7 ni muda mrefu.
One thing that I want us to accept is that level of preparedness for an individual is relative. There are people, when you tell them, I want you to report to work, maybe next week, they are as ready as now. Then we have another category of people who adjust gradually. You tell them, we want you to report to school, then they will say, okay, I need 2 months to report. So either way, we can say, I'm falling in this in the category of guys who are always ready for the job. If I'm told, get ready for the job, I will put things in place to ensure that I go back and resume my job. That was my position.
Okay.
Lilian, kitu ambacho mwalimu Festus anasahau ni kwamba wakati ambapo tunaenda katika ile likizo,
yeye ana familia.
Sidhani.
Zungumza nikana kwamba
Sahau imeingia. Ni sahau imeingia.
Amelala akipigiwa tu simu papo
ametoka. Festus, na sikubaliani nayo kabisa. Manake tulipoenda katika hii likizo ya corona, walimu wengi wakawa wamekaa nyumbani mchana kutwa, usiku kucha, hakuna cha kufanya.
Hata wengine walielekezea katika kulima.
Walimu wakaingia katika shughuli hizo. Wakasema, nimekuwa huwa sina muda. Wakati huu nimepata muda, wakaanza kilimo. Nimeona walimu wamelima nyanya, wamelima vitunguu, hata karibu na ziwa pale. Walimu wameingia shughuli nyingine mpaka wakasema, kumbe tumekuwa tukikosa huu muda wa kutekeleza haya majukumu, wakatengeneza boma zao zikawa safi. Wengine wamejenga nyumba.
Umepoteza muda mwingi katika kuangazia masuala ya elimu, mkajisahau nyinyi wenyewe.
Umesema, umenena kabisa, tukawa tumejisahau hata tujitunzi.
Sasa muda huu wa miezi 7 mkajipata.
Tukajipata.
Like you found yourselves.
Na tukawa tumeambiwa kwamba labda tutarejea shuleni Januari. Tukasema alhamdulillah. Wacha tuendelee tukamalize shughuli zetu hizi, tukamilishe ikifika Januari basi tutakuwa tuko tayari kwenda shuleni. Kwa hivyo shughuli zilikuwa nyingi.
Labda ningependa kuuliza kidogo, kwa muda huu ambao umekuwa shuleni, kuna zile changamoto ambazo labda umeweza kupata?
Nyingi tena nyingi sana. Changamoto ni kwamba walimu wengi hawakuwa tayari kurejea shuleni. Kuna wale ambao hawajarejea kwa sababu moja au nyingine. Kwa hivyo napata kwamba majukumu ya walimu wengine labda yamebadilika. Kama mimi nikijitoa kama mfano, nimechukulia idara fulani ambao si kuwemo. Na idara hii ni ya kulinda wale wanafunzi ambao wako katika mabweni. Kidogo unapata kwamba nina changamoto, manake wanafunzi hawa lazima uangalie, watazame, are they keeping social distance? Are they abiding to these protocols? Kwa hivyo kuna changamoto chungu nzima. Inabidi umewaangalia katika madarasa na katika bweni vile vile.
Labda Bikaro umeweza kutaja kwamba
I want to add on her sentiments that we've really faced a lot of challenges since schools were opened. Actually, in most of these small schools, if you visit them as we speak, you will be surprised because just as my colleague Ken Boro had said that some schools reopened the same way they were closed. That is the actual that is the conditions that most of the schools are at this particular time. So I want to add a few challenges that are being faced. One of the greatest challenge is the buying of the masks. It is a challenge to students, it is a challenge to teachers, because masks are expensive. Actually, if you go for one, the cheapest you can afford is 30 shillings. And if we have to replace these masks, because you cannot use one mask for 1 month. If you have to replace these masks, then it means on average, if maybe in a week you use at least 3 in a week, then it means in a month you will be spending like you will consume 3 in a week, then it means 12 in a month. So 12 in a month, that if one goes at the rate of 30 shillings, then that would mean that you will spend 12 by 30. That is around 360 shillings, isn't it? That is not manageable for students. So that is one challenge that both teachers and the students are facing. Another challenge that the teachers and the students are facing is this issue of keeping 1.5 meters social distance. We have schools that are overpopulated, and at the same time the facilities are inadequate. You may find that in a school of averagely a school of maybe 100 students, they have maybe about 3 classes. With a population of 100, you don't expect to attain a social distance of 1.5 meters with the students. So some of these things, in as much as the government would want such measures to be put in place, they are far from reality. So these are some of the things that we are facing as the challenges.
Kwa ufupi, unajaribu kumaanisha kwamba ile picha ambayo serikali inatupatia au Wizara ya Elimu inatupatia kwamba mashule mingi zimeweza ku put in place hizo measures ambazo walipeana ili kuhakikisha kwamba ugonjwa huu wa corona hausambai mashuleni kuelekezea shule kufunguliwa, si ndio? Sasa kwa hivyo ile picha ambayo tunapata ni tofauti na ile picha ambayo ni kweli.
Exactly.
Lillian, now I wish our cabinet secretary was able to visit Kuna Mixed Secondary School in Rongo. How I wish he could visit Kodeng Mixed Secondary School in Awendo, or Komotobo in Kuria. That is when they will know exactly what is taking place. By the way, about some 3 or 4 days ago, I had someone saying that kids are more safe in school, and is telling people to look at the students in school and compare them with the students outside the school. That look at these ones, they are wearing masks. Those ones out there have no masks. So it means then these ones are safer. That is only possible in a boarding school. And we must acknowledge the fact that most students are in day schools. They will put on those masks in schools, then immediately they leave the gates.
So kwa ufupi ni kama gate pass ya kuingia shuleni. Wakifika katika lango kuu la shule wanavalia barakoa.
That is why even the cabinet secretary is appreciating that.
Kwa hivyo wanahisi ni kana kwamba wamefinyiliwa kidogo.
Exactly. That is why I'm saying that this person saying this is alive to the fact that the kids outside have no masks, or if they have them, they're not wearing them. The ones that are in school have them. So it means that these ones after school they keep them.
Kwa hivyo unahisi kwamba
so the picture that is being given is not what is happening on the ground. Yeah, kwa ground vitu
ni different.
That is true. That is the truth.
Kwa hivyo tumekuwa tukishuhudia visa vya ongezeko la ugonjwa huu wa corona au virusi vya corona. Kwa hivyo unahisi ni kana kwamba hiyo sababu ambayo umetaja kwamba wakifika tu kwa lango kuu la shule wanavalia, wakitoka wanatoka. Kwa hivyo unafikiri shuleni hawapati corona, wakiwa nje wanapata corona. Point yako ndo hiyo?
Well, I'm saying we cannot pretend that when kids are in school they are safe. I think that one is what I want to rule out. Because they are the very kids who are leaving the schools in the evening. They will stay with their parents and their siblings in the night.
Unafikiri wale ambao wako boarding school ndio wako safe, hawatapata hawatasaidia katika usambazaji wa virusi vya corona?
Yeah, possibly that theory may work in a boarding school.
It might not work, Mr. Boro. It might not work because remember, teachers are going home. We are not boarding with these students. We are not living with them in the dormitories. We go home, we come back the following day. And during maybe the weekend or in the course of the week, we can even travel up country. We can travel anywhere. I can even travel to Migori or to Homa Bay or to Kisii. Just shughuli zangu za kibinafsi. Niende Kisii, labda niambukizwe huko. Nikirejea, naja, nawafunza, nasahihisha vitabu vyao, nashika vitabu vyao. Labda nimesanitize mikono kwa kutumia ni VAUs. Huenda kwa namna moja au nyingine nimeweka vile viini ama ni virusi kwenye kitabu cha mwanafunzi.
Nimeacha hapo.
Nimeacha kwenye kitabu. Mwanafunzi atapata. Kwa hivyo hakuna ile hakika kwamba 100% kuna
wakiwa shuleni wako salama kuliko walivyo nje. Alafu pia umeweza kutaja kwamba katika mabweni, kwa sababu umetaja kwamba nyinyi walimu hamshindi nao katika mabweni, si ndio? Au hata wakiwa katika vyumba vyao vya kulala, huwezi jua wanazungumza, wanashikana kwa sababu ni watoto. Ni watoto, hata wao wakubwa wao wadogo ni watoto tu. Alafu ule uchangamano, kumbuka ni miezi 7 wamekuwa nyumbani. Ule uchangamano lazima uwepo. Kwa hivyo ni vigumu sana. Mimi na Karo ni marafiki, ametoka nyumbani, labda inakuwa vigumu sana, anafungua kwake ananionyesha, ona nimekuja na kitu fulani, ona. So inakuwa vigumu sana kukeep hiyo distance.
In other words, what we are saying, we are saying that the picture that the government or the impression that the government wants to create to the public is that learning can still continue. Where while in the real sense, learning is going on at risk. We risk so that we ensure that school our kids are in school. So what I want to put across is that in as much as we would wish that our students be in school, let the government think again, so that even before we fully reopen schools next year, let everything be done so that by the time the other forms and maybe the other classes will resume, everything shall have been put in place to ensure that we prevent the spread of this virus. Otherwise, we are going to see a spike of COVID-19 that has never been seen in the country Kenya.
Thank you. Bwana Moses, umenyamaza sana.
Thank you. We live by God's favor. We can't say that the measures that we are putting in place or as at now can stop us from maybe contracting this deadly virus. When you hear experts give their opinion on how school is just supposed to run, that in Great Britain, the Prime Minister there says the safest place for any child now is school. You know, situations are different. In Great Britain, they really observe these measures that we are talking about. If it is 1.5 meters apart, that social distance, that physical distance is practically being observed, and they have facilities that can sustain that. When they say hand washing point, the use of sanitizers, they are developed countries, they are developed nations. These ones, they can bankroll and they can be done, right? In Kenya, we are underdeveloped, we are third world country, and we are just good at aping policies like those ones of developed countries. We like pretending that sisi ni masonko. Yeah, it's like the life of social media. But in reality, it is not the case. If you just come down to our schools, and we don't have to singularize any school right now. Just pop in any school and look at how students are seated. In a classroom that is meant to sustain or to contain around 40 students normally, you will still find 35 students in that class. Distance, social and physical distance that we are talking about is 0.
So kwa hao 35, kumbuka wizara elimu wanazungumza, si ndio? Mwelekezo kutoka juu kwenu walimu. Alafu mkipewa wanafunzi inakuwa ni kama ni jukumu lenu. So mnakuwa wazazi au uelekezi wa hao watoto. Kumbuka ni wachanga, si ndio? So unafikiri kwa sababu sasa wametoka nyumbani wamekuja wakitegemea ulinzi wenu, si ndio, na mwelekezo wenu. Kwa hivyo mnaweka mfano kwanza ili hao wachanga wafate. Like, do you keep an example for the young ones to emulate?
Sisi wenyewe kama walimu tunaweka mfano. Mimi katika majilisi yetu tunaweka huo mfano, na mara kwa mara tunawakumbusha hata wakija pale kutafuta usaidizi kwa walimu. Akisonga karibu nawe sana namwambia songa kidogo, hatua chache kidogo nyuma. Usisongelee mwalimu karibu sana, kuna huu ugonjwa. Kwa hivyo tunawafunza, na sisi pia jinsi tunavyoketi, tunaketi tukiwa tunajaribu ku observe your social distance. Lakini shida ni kwamba majilisi mengine ni madogo sana. Kama majilisi yangu ni dogo sana.
Kwa hivyo inakuwa
wale ambao wanatutembelea ni vigumu kwanza. Unapata wenzetu wanaenda kukaa nje hapa.
Lakini sasa umetaja unapata class ni ya 40 students, ndio? Lakini unapata ndani watu wako 35. Kwa hivyo serikali inapeana maagizo. Kwenu mmefanya nini kuhakikisha kwamba labda huenda saa hii wanafunzi wengine hawapo shuleni, si ndio? Kwa hivyo kumaanisha hayo madarasa mengine yanapaswa kuchukua baadhi ya wanafunzi ambao hawatoshi kwa hili darasa. Kuhakikisha kwamba labda tuchukue madarasa 8. Alafu kila darasa wanafunzi 10. Si wametosha?
Lillian, there is a point that is escaping me. I just got interrupted somewhere.
Okay.
I am the only, let me say, I am the only business teacher in the school where I teach, right? I'm just giving an example. It might not imply the real situation. But this, we have schools that have got such situations. You are only one geography teacher or business teacher, right? And you are handling let's say a class of 40. Now, if you are handling a class of 40 and you have to subdivide these students into 3 rooms, and now it means you will be teaching the same concepts, right? In 3 classrooms. You see? Now, that is me teaching geography or business studies, which is an elective subject. Imagine of compulsory subjects. How are you going to handle that? You have around 200 students, or you have around 100 students. How many classrooms will accommodate, let's say, an average of 12 students per classroom? And do we have the human resources? Do we have teachers, enough teachers to attend to them? You know, the greatest crisis we have right now, even as we speak, is that most of these schools, they are understaffed. The other time you had the government coming up with makeshift of employing teachers on internship, right? Of which, again, they could not absorb them. They had to introduce another bottleneck, subject them to another terrible exercise of double. You see?
Na Bwana Moses,
Yes.
kidogo tu.
Yes.
Okay, Bwana Moses, umeweza kutaja kwamba government involvement, ndio? Kwa hivyo kabla ya nyinyi kurudi shuleni, wizara iliweza kutoa wito, si ndio? Mkapewa muda wa wiki moja. Na mliporudi shuleni, tuliweza kuangaziwa. Labda walijitahidi kutembelea mashule, japo si yote, si ndio? Baadhi ya mashule kuhakikisha kwamba mambo haya yameweza kutekelezwa. Sasa baada ya kwa muda huu ambao mmekuwa shuleni, je, mmeweza kuona viongozi hawa katika sekta ya elimu wakitembelea mashule ambayo mpo ili kuhakikisha kwamba mnasonga vizuri, au hata kuangalia maslahi yenu, au hata kushughulikia changamoto ambazo umeweza kutaja?
I don't know about the rest. I would say no.
Okay, let me say this. Let me say, actually, we must give credit where it is necessary and condemn where it is necessary. In my school, just yesterday, a sub-county director visited our school just to come and confirm how prepared are we as a school in terms of COVID-19 prevention measures. I want to say that that is not what happens probably in other schools. So he may come to our school and maybe find that as a school we are prepared. But if they don't visit other schools, he may come out with a wrong impression that schools are doing well. Because what I want to insist on, you will realize that most of these officers, they only visit schools that are along a highway. Okay. So if they come to a school that is along a highway, because the schools are accessible, they go ahead and assume that what they see in a school that is along a highway is what is actually happening in those other schools that are far flung. So it is not true that all schools are being visited.
Okay, Bwana Ken, unafikiri wale ambao walikuwa elected na KUPPET?
Just a minute, just before you ask me this question.
Okay.
I don't think this is the right time that we should be talking about education officers going around to check the level of preparedness. Why do you have to talk about level of preparedness right now? Right now they should be coming to check whether we are implementing the measures. But one thing I'm telling you, they did not even check this level of preparedness. They only checked
before the students
came in.
Okay.
So they should not be coming now to do two things at the same time. Because they will be coming to check the level of preparedness, yet we are already there, and we have spent about 1 month in school. That is why I'm telling you that something is wrong.
Si mambo ya preparedness. Hizi changamoto umetaja kwamba umekabili changamoto since
I'm getting you so well. The first thing I wanted to...
Wamerudi tena kuangalia maslahi yenu tena kama walimu.
One thing I wanted you to understand, so that you don't think that way again. We are no longer talking about the level of preparedness.
Okay.
We went to school unprepared. Even the government was not prepared. They knew very well that we went back to school, but they were not prepared. That is the reality. So what they can come to check is how we are suffering in that environment. That is the thing, which they have not even done in very many institutions around. If they have done them, that in very few institutions. Yeah. So we are forced to work in some specific environments which we cannot describe because the government have not certified them.
Kwa ufupi, wawakilishi wenu katika miungano mbalimbali labda katika sekta ya elimu tunasema kwamba wamefail katika kazi yao, katika majukumu yao. Kwa sababu wanapaswa kuangalia maslahi yenu nyinyi kama walimu.
Lilian, nataka ujue kitu kimoja kwanza kabla hata hujaendelea kwamba serikali ama hao wawakilishi wetu unavyowaita hawajali maslahi yetu. Hilo ni jambo ambalo nafaa.
Ndio nilitaka kujua ikiwa
you are asking me if the person who is in charge of my welfare is concerned. That is the question you are asking me.
Definitely.
Straight, I'm answering you.
Okay.
They are not. They are left to suffer.
At least he's being honest.
Yes, I'm very honest.
He said you guys aren't honest.
I'm very honest. Today, we were at various schools in Kuria region. We visited Mabera Girls, Monya Bohanse, Ekerege Mixed Secondary School. These are schools, in fact, of different classes. We visited a sub-county school, a national school, an extra provincial school, or an extra county school. When we went there, I cannot say here that indeed the measures that were placed by the Ministry of Health that we are supposed to follow are there. And it is not because of teachers, it is because there are no resources. No funds. Now, Lillian, there are some schools where they still transport water using donkeys.
That is right.
They are where they are still hiring women to carry water on their heads to supply these institutions. How will this principal install a running water, if I may ask you? That is why I'm saying that as teachers, we are suffering, and the people we are paying to take care of us, to look into our welfare, is not doing anything. I am always talking about one of our own who passed on, Mr. Mohammed Hamis, the principal Tononoka, Mombasa County. We have severally demanded for a communication from our union, but up to date, they have not said anything. In fact, if the real unionists, the pioneers of the unions in Kenya, the tomboyers, the adongodeers, will wake up today from where they are dead, there is one person that they will cane thoroughly. Can tell you that one for free. There is one person that they will cane thoroughly, and he knows himself because he's sleeping on his job.
So apart from these administrators of various unions, so mnafikiri Magoha as the CS of education anafanya kazi yake? Mmesema kwamba administrators hawafanyi kazi yao.
Okay, let me tell you something about our honorable CS Bwana Magoha. One thing that I've always wondered about Bwana Magoha is the how he gives out instructions.
Okay.
Yeah, because for me, if I were the cabinet secretary, then I would consult before issuing a directive. Here comes a case where a cabinet secretary who has been given the mandate to run education sector in Kenya wakes up maybe one morning and says, we are reopening schools next week. Honestly. And remember, this one comes at a time that at one point he had informed the public that schools will officially reopen the following year. Don't you know, honestly speaking, we cannot run a ministry like that. We cannot run a ministry like that if we are really serious. So on my side, I can say that Magoha has failed as a cabinet secretary. We had cabinet secretary before, like the likes of Ambassador Amina Mohamed. They did their part. But when it comes to Magoha, you wonder what is happening. Or could it be that there is someone who does not want to bear the blame? Because the last time when I was following a press conference by our president Uhuru Kenyatta, he said that before schools reopen, he will give the cabinet secretary Magoha a chance to go and discuss with other experts. Then from there they will come up with a directive of whether the schools are supposed to reopen or not. Then it was like we are not ready for reopening of the schools. Then all of a sudden you get another directive that schools will reopen the following week. Honestly, we cannot run an economy like that. We cannot run an education sector like that. So, on my side, the CS has failed.
Karo, kidogo tusikize kwa Karo. Unahisi Magoha anatekeleza wajibu wake ipasavyo?
Kwa kusema kweli, alipoingia katika wizara hii, tulikuwa na matarajio makubwa sana. Kama walimu na hata wananchi kwa jumla. Kumbuka alikuwa chuo kikuu cha Nairobi na alikuwa ametekeleza majukumu yake vizuri kule kama VC. Sasa alipokuja katika sekta hii, tukawa tuna matarajio kwamba angeisukuma hii sekta ifike kiwango cha juu sana. Lakini kufikia wakati wa corona, waziri ameweza kutuonyesha kwamba alikosa msimamo dhabiti pale ambapo angesimama jukwani aseme hili leo, ikifika kesho aseme amegeuka na kusema jambo lingine ambalo ni kinyume cha yale aliyosema jana. Kwa hivyo alidhihirika kuwa mtu ambaye hakuwa na msimamo, ambaye labda kwa kiwango fulani sekta hii imedidimia ama kurudi chini kwa ajili yake. Nafikiri tungekuwa na waziri mwingine tofauti naye, labda mambo yangekuwa tofauti.
Lilian, of all the cabinet secretaries we have in Kenya today, the cabinet secretary education is the most confused. But I don't want to dwell so much about what he's doing in the Ministry of Education. My concern is the welfare of a teacher. There is somebody who is supposed to be telling him, no, we are not ready to go back to school because of 1, 2, 3 things.
So unahisi ni akili yake anaamka leo anataja hii, kesho anabadilisha, kesho yake bado atataja jambo tofauti.
What he's saying, no, I want to inject on that. What my friend Ken Boro is saying is that in as much as the cabinet secretary appears to be confused, there are guys who are supposed to take him head on and tell him exactly what he is supposed to do. For instance, we have our unions.
Okay.
Yeah. At the national level, we teachers, we are represented by our national Secretary General, Mr. AKELLO Misori. When you hear, for instance, that maybe a teacher has passed on as a result of COVID-19, the Teacher Service Commission has issued a message of condolence and it is going online. Then, at such points, we expect our union to speak and to rebuke, such that recently here, when a nurse passed on, actually the late nurse was called Marian Awar. She was coming from Homa Bay, Rachuonyo, South the union of nurses protesting bitterly up to the point that the measures were to be put in place to ensure that their safety was guaranteed. That one happened because there was someone somewhere who felt that the nurses were not given the attention that they deserved. What about us teachers? Don't we have someone who can speak on our behalf? In the name of AKELLO MISORI.
Tukome hapo katika swali lako.
Yes.
Na mtazamaji wetu, tunaenda katika a short commercial break. Kumbuka unaweza kufuata mahojiano haya katika mitandao ya kijamii. Katika Instagram ni LTV/Kenya1, katika Facebook ni LTV Kenya, katika YouTube ni LTV Kenya1.
And here we will be giving you what you've been missing in the entertainment industry.
We will be hosting different guests, upcoming artists, as well as your favorite entertainers.
To motivate you, the youth, we will be bringing you youthful entrepreneurs who have made it in life.
Politically, you are in the right place. We will be bringing you the already established politicians. And to upcoming politicians, this is where your political career will be nurtured. Live only on LTV Kenya, the home of the best.
Indeed, LTV Kenya is home of the best.
Facebook na katika YouTube ni LTV Kenya1, katika Instagram LTV/Kenya1. Na bado nimeungana na walimu na tunaendelea katika mijadala tofauti. Sasa ningependa tuzungumzie kuhusu malipo. Kwa hivyo kwa muda mrefu sasa tumekuwa tukishuhudia nyinyi mkigoma, mkifanya demonstrations, ndio? Kuhusiana na malipo. Alafu baada ya muda tunasikia mmeketi mmezungumza mmeelewana. Baada ya muda mfupi tena, baada ya hayo maelewano ambayo tunasikia migomo mingine.
No. Let me say that there has not been an agreement between.
But things cool down. Things cool down, kind of.
No, what was happening? What was happening? We had a CBA that was running from 2021 to 2016. That was in 2016. That was to be in 4 phases. It was to be in 4 phases.
Let me explain something.
Yes.
Just so that it is clear. There is a history of fight for better remuneration in Kenya. And up to some level the government thought, and with the major stakeholders, there is need for CBAs that has to be signed that run for 4 years.
Yeah.
This was meant to stop regular strikes.
Yes.
And the first CBA was signed in 2016 that has been running from 2017 and will be ending in July 2021. So we are not, or you have not been seeing teachers going on strike because we are operating under a CBA that was signed.
Okay, is it efficient enough? As in it,
Now that is the question.
Yeah,
that is now the question. Yes. That is the question that maybe I would like
Let me now
to respond
now
to.
let
Then
me
I will
respond
say
on
my
that.
word.
Let me respond. It is inadequate.
okay.
Yeah, because the CBA that is now coming to an end, the percentage was 16% of the basic salary, and it was to run for the 4 years. Let me tell you something about our pay. Kenya as a country, we have inflation. And this inflation, in as much as we are getting salary increment, if it takes too long, then it is eaten up by inflation. That is why we are saying, in the next CBA, in case there will be a salary increment, first, the following conditions should be met. If at all they want the percentage to be annually, then teachers would be comfortable with what we call what was proposed by the KUPPET, which is 30 to 70%. If that is on condition that it is annually. But in case it has to run for another 4 years, then we have a feeling as teachers that they be in the tunes of 200% as was recommended by the NAT as a union. And if that is done, then I want to believe that one will cushion teachers against inflation, because you don't expect a teacher to be given a salary increment of 3,000, then it is spread for the next 3 years. Honestly, are we genuine?
Okay.
Well, Lillian, there are very many issues about the CBA.
Okay.
The one that is being implemented, and that is ending next year. One, it was signed, and if you look at what happened after the agreement was signed, was telling you that it was a document that was not properly scrutinized or discussed by the parties. We can remember that there were cases that arose after the signing of the CBA, like delocalization of teachers, the issue of the common teacher not getting much as was expected, the issues of per diems that were placed in the CBA which are not being implemented, the issue of a promotion of teachers. So there are a lot in the CBA that is also that are touching on the payment of a teacher. For example, if a teacher is employed today in job group K, it will take this teacher, the graduate teacher, 3 years to be promoted to job group L. Any promotion comes with some benefits, money. Now, once you are in job group L, you expect some promotion again to another grade, so that it comes with money. But what we are seeing today, number one, this grading system was abolished. The kind of system that we have today is one that is one that is not giving room for promotion of a teacher. We have teachers today who have stayed in specific job groups for quite a number of time. Festa Sobonyo is a teacher at Garage. I'm also a teacher. But do you know that I taught him? And today we are in the same job group, earning the same salary. Right? And very many teachers are facing this kind of situation in Kenya today. That is why we are saying that it is not just about the salary increment. Even in the negotiation of the next CBA. Okay. What we are talking about is promotion of teachers. Not the actual salary. Because you can earn it forever in life. Okay. They will tell you that they are giving you 30%, and then it will be divided in 4 years, across 4 years. Then at the end of the day, it is 1,000 shillings per year. Yeah. And remember, the annual increment is not there also. Okay. So we are running our students. There is no difference between Festus and Bor. We are running the same. Yet, I'm supposed to demand for some respect. Exactly. Just because we faced opposite directions sometime in class. I was his teacher. He was my student.
So inapunguza respect kidogo na kwamba
Yeah.
tunapata mshahara same.
Yes, at the end of the day, salary is the same, right?
Yeah.
Today we have a serious problem.
And you feel like umepoteza muda mrefu sana katika sekta ya elimu.
Exactly.
Kwa sababu labda uli expect baada ya miaka 10 katika sekta hii ya elimu labda ningekuwa mahali pengine. So which brings us to a question. Kwa hivyo nafikiri CBA badala ya kuleta maendeleo iko hapo kuhakikisha kwamba umebaki mahali pamoja. Umekuwa na pale.
Exactly.
Let me tell you, Lilia. Today we have about 4 grades of a deputy principal. I even know them very well.
They're D1.
C4, you qualify to be there. So D2,
D1, D2, D3, and D4.
all those things, you are still a deputy
You're
principal.
still a deputy. Then senior master.
So you wonder.
Okay. Despite the big names,
Exactly.
despite the
Exactly.
miaka yote yenye umekaa katika sekta ya elimu bado mnahisi mko pale pale.
Yeah. So I was faced with a situation where a child was born when his father was a deputy principal of a school.
Okay.
And they are staying in a school compound. So every time she hears students calling their dad Depa. The daughter has grown to the age of 12 years and the dad is still Depa. So to her, Depa is another name of the dad.
Okay.
She doesn't know that is just a slang that students are using to refer to the dad as the deputy principal of that school. So you can see the frustration. So that is why we are saying that, well, we are going for another CBA. But I want to criticize my union even before I talk about what I expect in the next CBA.
Okay.
The last press conference I had them addressing us was when they were talking about the BBI report. And they were saying that the BBI report is very good. That the only problem is that powers of CRC and TSC are supposed to be reduced. The question is, where was the union when the BBI report was being drafted? Where were they?
Kidogo. Sasa labda Karo na Moses, ningependa mtueleze kwamba mmekuwa mkilalamikia kuhusiana na swala la medical cover. Kwani haikusuluhishwa?
Thank you again, Lilian. Teachers' medical cover has been a thorny issue for quite some time now, because right now it's like we are coerced or we are forced into using two medical providers, right? We have NIF here, then we have our own Minet here. But teachers are more of our own Minet. Wherever you are going, that's what they ask you. Do you your TSC number and all that. But I think last year but one teachers complained very bitterly about this one issue. And then this year was again the peak of it, where we did a popular hashtag Minet must go. They behaved as if they were changing a thing or two, but you know, if you are a bad medical provider, or if you are just a bad person, you cannot hide your ills. Every time it will resurface. So we were trying to push the TAC and the government to maybe enroll teachers into NIF comprehensive medical cover, so that they don't again give us this raw deal of our own Minet, because it is just a terrible thing. Pre-authorization process takes so long, and sometimes it doesn't even happen. And just imagine when you are on an emergency, you still have to wait for pre-authorization to go through, really. That's why you see most of our teachers are really suffering outside there.
Kwa hivyo nyinyi ku-protest against Minet, ukisema Minet must go. Kwa hivyo kupoa kwenu kwa hizo demonstration, mlikuwa make sure kwamba itakuwa imewajibikia. Lakini jambo ambalo alikufanyika kulingana na wewe.
It has not happened. What they succeeded in doing was actually to open so many WhatsApp groups per county and enroll teachers into it while masquerading that they were offering information. In fact, according to them, we are not informed about our own things. And our own is terrible in that if you want service, you have to call certain numbers. You go to the to a particular hospital where you have enrolled as a user, and then from there again you need to call certain numbers in Nairobi or within the county who has allowance for that. This is a sick person who maybe has accompanied himself or herself to the hospital and still has to make calls. And even right now when we are speaking, I think I brought to the attention of the media about a colleague teacher who was stranded somewhere in Nyangena hospital here in Kisii, having been frustrated in quotes, Bliss Kisumu. He was being tossed left, right and center, and this teacher kumbe was suffering from COVID-19. That one brings us to the question that is the medical cover that we are currently using, be it NIF, be it our own Minet, does it cushion us? Or does it attend to our medical needs when COVID-19 comes knocking?
Okay, let me add something.
Okay, because thank you, Lillian. Our own Minet has not been a friend of the teachers. Kwa kiwango kikubwa hatujapata huduma ambazo mwalimu anastahili ama walimu wanastahili. Utapata kwamba kuna kiwango ambacho tumepimiwa cha kuwa wagonjwa. Kwa wiki moja usidhubutu kuwa mgonjwa mara mbili. Ni jambo ambalo hata mwenyewe ukiangalia kwa kusema ukweli ni la kushangaza mno.
Na weekend pia usiwe mgonjwa.
Usidhubutu kuwa mgonjwa wakati ni weekend,
weekday.
So it is a very terrible thing that sickness is something that nobody wishes themselves, but then you realize that this is a scheme that has preconditioned you to be sick only such and such and such a time. At the same time, there's an amount that is located to you that you should be spending in a visit. So if your sickness would be a bigger sickness, or that the one that would cost much more money than you are allocated for, then you will not get proper medication. Certain hospitals will tell you, tutakupea hii dawa na hii, lakini hii hatutakupatia.
Lillian, iron is a very serious issue. And like my brother Moses has said, this is the biggest thorn on the flesh of teachers. Yesterday I received a call from a colleague. There is a facility here in Rongo where teachers are served. There is a teacher who went there. The teacher was served and a request was placed for billing to be done by Iron Minute. The teacher was discharged and she went home. Yesterday the teacher was called back only to be given a bill of 58,000 shillings to clear, that her own was not ready to clear the bill. The case is there, you can follow up tomorrow and you will get the exact story. Now, there are very many issues of our own. Number one, if this is an insurance scheme for teachers, it therefore means that the medical allowance that we were being given that was scrapped off will therefore translate to an insurance premium that we will be paying to this insurance company as insurance cover for the teachers. And therefore, it should be reflected on our payslips that we are paying some premium towards our health cover.
Provider.
But that is not happening. Why is that one not happening? That is the question teachers are asking. That let it be reflected on our slips so that we know, and then we can claim. Because today if you go to hospital and they ask you, how much do you pay us, so that you can tell us to teach you, you will not have the answer to that question. We don't know how much we are paying them.
Exactly.
So you don't have the authority to interrogate. Because you will be told, you were here yesterday, we treated you. So you wait until next some months. So those are the technicalities that are there. Number 2, we have 2 health covers. We have the NHIF and the Iron Minet. Why is it that our employer cannot combine these or improve one?
Sure.
So that we enjoy a truly comprehensive insurance cover. Today as we speak, it is comprehensive on papers. It is not really comprehensive. That is the truth. Because they are regulating where we are supposed to receive our treatments. You are told, here you cannot be treated, here you can be treated. And you may want to get the best. But now we are regulated. So we are saying, what if we are given a chance to choose by ourselves? That is there.
Okay.
Then, you are a parent. Maybe you have not gotten a child, but when I look at you, but I believe soon you will have one. You'll be a parent.
Okay.
If you are a parent, or when you are a parent, you will take your kids to the best school of your choice. We are children of TAC. We are also children of KUPPET. KUPPET itself, the secretariat, even the executive secretary migori, is not covered by our own Minet.
Okay.
The TAC secretariat are not covered by our Minet. If this thing is truly good and we are their children, why can't they give us?
Consume it.
Why can't they also consume it? That is why we are saying there is something here that we are not being told. But we are insisting. Yes, we are insisting that in the next dispensation that we are going to form, because we are going to form the next KUPPET government.
Okay. Kwa hiyo next naelewa kwamba elections ziko next year, si ndio?
Yes.
Kwa hivyo mna feel ni nini ambacho kinahitaji kuchenjiwa?
Okay, let me say that there are a lot of things that we need to be changed. Truly speaking, if you've been in KUPPET politics, the wave that is going around across the country in all the 47 counties, the wave is the wave of change. Why? We want a total overhaul of KUPPET leadership, right from the top to the branches. Why? These guys have failed us. Whenever we are complaining of stagnation, whenever we are complaining of the COVID-19, whenever we are complaining of inferior medical cover, the buck stops with our National Secretary General AKELLO MISORI. Actually, it is interesting that my Secretary General is aspiring to be a governor in Migori County. In Homa Bay. Actually, that is a good thing. But I want to appeal to him, wherever he is, that before he goes for that gubernatorial seat, let him leave a legacy. Let him do something that will make teachers remember him. We are happy with the late Adongo, Ambrose Adongo. He's the guy that organized the longest strike that ever happened in our country. So we are appealing to AKELLO Misori, wherever he is, that before he goes for that seat, let him ensure that some of these things that are making teachers to suffer, for instance, the stagnation, is solved. Actually, it is really perplexing that the other day they were complaining that even the new CBA had already been sneaked in by Teacher Service Commission to the SRC without their approval. Honestly, how is that possible? Because if they were part of the process, how could TSC navigate them and even avoid them and sneak that document to the SRC?
How does it become a CBA?
How does it become
should
a
be a
CBA?
collective bargaining agreement. How is it collective?
Madam, you asked me what I would want to see changed.
Yes.
If I got you right.
Yeah.
Number one,
Okay.
we are not saying that teachers don't need a comprehensive medical policy. Because, I mean, scheme. Because this is a government policy that is directing our employer. But what we are saying is, let them not regulate for us our sickness. Let them not regulate for us our sickness.
It's not natural.
It is not natural. When I am sick, I'm supposed to walk to an hospital of my choice. I'm a teacher. I'm paying this government every month a lot of money. And we are very many of us. And you can imagine of that economy of scale also. So let me walk to that hospital of my choice. That is number one. Number two, this scheme must also respect the constitution or the supreme law of this land. For example, this scheme is regulating the number of children that I'm supposed to cover or that it's covering for me.
No, the ones you're supposed to give birth to.
4 and the number of women.
The wives.
No, the legal wives. The legal wives.
No, it is really one wife and 4 children.
Surely.
While the supreme law of the land allows me to marry even 4. Then you are telling me that you can only treat for me one.
Don't you think utakuwa unawapatia mzigo? Kumbuka inapaswa
Let me
kuwa
ask
legal
you,
wife.
let me
So
ask
at
you,
least
let me
ukizaa
ask
watoto
Lilian.
6 inakuwa
Lilian, honestly, Lilian, Muslims are allowed to marry as many as 4 wives, right? This Muslim brother of mine who has 4 wives or 3, who do you think should treat the third and the second wife?
the first wife.
No, the first wife is taken care of. It is a source of conflict in the family.
The families.
Yes.
Yes.
Allow me to
No, it's not allowed.
treat my wives. Allow me to treat my children. Don't regulate for me the number
Then
of
register
children.
them. So register wakwe.
Once they don't
They
allow
are
it,
restricted.
They have restricted
the number of children.
the
to be
number of
registered.
children to 4. Where do you register the 5th one? Where do you register the 5th one?
Itabidi mpange uzazi.
Yes.
Okay.
But those are the things that we want changed. Right? Then we want that scheme or premium to appear on our slip so that we know that when I'm walking to Lando Farmer, for example, I know and I can demand for something
You
because
can imagine.
I have evidence that I'm making some payment.
Exactly.
Right now I don't have any evidence. If they send me away, what do I do? I just go away.
You sort out.
I'll sort out myself. So that is what we are saying. That we need a system where we have something to show that we are indeed contributing. Why is it so easy for them to show that we are contributing NHIF, CPS, this one, that is called the Widow Child Pension Scheme.
Yes.
When they cannot show me how much I'm contributing towards my comprehensive medical cover.
Or unless it is a scam.
Na mtazamaji wetu, ni wakati tena kwenda katika mapumziko, lakini hapa nakwambia mahojiano yanaendelea kutoka moto kuelekea moto zaidi. Lakini kumbuka, sisi kama LTV Kenya tunakuletea mezani. Kazi yako ni kutathmini. Wao wanazungumza, sisi tunaketi, wa kutekeleza yupo. Kumbuka unaweza kufuata mahojiano haya katika LTV Kenya, katika Facebook LTV/Kenya1, Instagram na LTV Kenya1.
And here we will be giving you what you've been missing in the entertainment industry.
We will be hosting different guests, upcoming artists, as well as your favorite entertainers.
To motivate you, the youth, we will be bringing you youthful entrepreneurs who have made it in life.
Politically, you are in the right place. We will be bringing you the already established politicians. And to upcoming politicians, this is where your political career will be nurtured. Live only on LTV Kenya, the home of the best.
Indeed, LTV Kenya is home of the best.
Na karibu tena mtazamaji wetu wa LTV Kenya. Bado tunaendelea mahojiano kuhusiana pamoja na walimu kutoka katika sekta mbalimbali ya elimu. Na tumeweza kuzungumzia mambo mbalimbali kuhusiana na stagnation au kukwama, kwa sababu walitarajia kwamba unions au mashirika mbalimbali ya muungano ingeweza kutekeleza mahitaji yao au hata kurepresent katika wizara ya elimu, lakini kutokana na maelezo yao ni kwamba wameweza kukosa kabisa kutekeleza wajibu wao. Sasa kama na mambo ambayo tumeweza kuzungumzia, naona tuzungumzie kuhusu siasa. Mmenitajia kwamba mnagombea katika viti. Ningependa mtaje, mweleze watazamaji wetu wa LTV Kenya ni vyo gani mnagombea. Labda ningependa kwanza na wewe Mr. Ken.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
This is a very serious aspirant. The other time, we went for election. The last election that was held here was in 2016. And I went for the seat of Executive Secretary, the branch CEO. And I want to thank teachers because we performed so well. Yeah, we performed so well. I became second after the current executive secretary, and that was the first time I was contesting.
So you feel the next time? So
yeah, normally when you contest for the first time, you introduce yourself to teachers, and then if you are successful, fine. But in the event that you don't succeed, now you have a starting point. And that is also what even helped the current executive secretary, because he had tried in a by-election that aborted to contest for the same seat. I was just very green in the field.
Kidogo tu nikukatize. Unaona, labda mwaka huu kuna mgombeaji, tuseme nataka UMCA. Labda kama wewe nipite ama nikuwe nambari 2, si ndio? Alafu wakati ujao sasa, kwa sababu nimeshatambulika, ushagain ile popularity, unanielewa? Sasa next time nitaona kama nilipata namba 2, next time acha nijaribu kiti tofauti. So wewe umeamua kurudia the same post ulikuwa unavai tena. Kwa nini?
This is the highest post at the branch level.
Okay.
There is no any other one. If there could be another one, I will go for it. But I'm saying in the event that I will succeed on this, and I can see when I was moving around today and the past few days that have been visiting institutions, I am convinced that teachers are charged for change. And we are going to form the next government.
Kwa yule ambaye yupo sasa, unafikiri ni nini ambacho hajafanya ama hajaweza kutekeleza ambacho wewe ukifanikiwa kuingia katika kiti hicho utarekebisha au utatekeleza?
Lillian, the current executive secretary is a total failure to this branch.
Reasons for his failure.
Number one, the union is not felt by teachers. I can tell you, these campaigns are not supposed to be now, because even these we have not been given our exact dates for elections, but we are campaigning, and the executive secretary and his team is campaigning more than even we are campaigning. That is enough to tell you that it is a failed system. It is failed because, let me just tell you, for the last 7 days, this guy has visited 20 schools. And the guy has served for more than 4.5 years. And for the last 4.5 years, they have not even visited 10 schools. So tell me, is this a working executive secretary? That is why we are saying that a time has come that we must change the leadership of this branch. Number two, unionism is not about arrogance. Unionism is about firmness and one who can negotiate for its members. Our current executive secretary is a self-proclaimed arrogant man. Declared last year on 26th of September 2019 at Maranatha Hall, Migori. So teachers want a humble leadership that respects them. That is the change that we want. We want to give them a leadership that respects them. A leadership that will never shut down a teacher in public. That is what we want to give them. That is where our executive secretary has failed.
Kusema arrogance from the union, unamaanisha nini?
You are a journalist.
Yeah.
There is a press conference where President Donald Trump was addressing some journalists, and then a journalist asked a question, but this journalist had the origin of China, and the question was related to the COVID-19. Do you know the answer that Trump how Trump answered the journalist? Go and ask China. Ask China. Those are the kind of questions we are receiving today. We have a union that is not accommodating us. When you ask something, ask TSC.
Lakini
ask TSC.
Mwalimu, nachojua ni kwamba ni kama tu mchezo. Ukitazama unahisi mchezaji fulani angefanya jambo fulani, lakini ungekuwa hapo, huenda pia wewe ungefanya chini ya kenye amefanya. Sasa unajua mchezo ni wewe unatazama, unaangalia makosa yake, lakini ukiwa hapo kuna kale tu ka kiburi, ukipata kasifa kidogo kuna kale ka kiburi kila mtu wanacho.
Let me tell you, Lele.
Wachezaji wa kando ya uwanja, wachezaji wa kando ya uwanja zile za fanya hivi, lakini ukifika hapo ndani unapata vile ulitaja tu ground ni different. Unashindwa kufanya, lakini sisi huku nje tunasikia.
I've just told you one or two things why we need change. Right now I'm not the executive secretary of the branch.
Don't you think ile pressure ile mtu ako ile pressure anapata ndio inamforce akwe arrogant? Kama umetaja mfano wa Trump. Wanda Trump sasa kila mtu sasa anafeel hawezi handle.
Then if the kitchen is too hot for him, why don't you walk outside?
Okay, sasa pia wewe uenda pia ukiwa hapo itakuwa hot.
Yeah, if it is hot, then he will resign.
A year will go for.
Actually, if he cannot bear the temperatures of that office, then someone else will come in and pick the position.
Lillian, let me tell you one thing. I am not the executive secretary. As we speak, I'm the sub-county sports secretary, Awendo. But I can tell you, even where we have not hosted sports in Awendo, I have visited all schools in Awendo and I know them. Not because I was campaigning, I visit them. Even to take a circular, even just to take a circular for the school.
Ya ujue ni kipi
Now,
utabadilisha,
you
kipi
present the
utatekelezwa.
circular to the principal, and you share a bit. You have visited them. Imagine now, this is somebody who is not even going to class. His work is to serve teachers 24/7. Hata sahii nikimpigia simu anafaa ashike akuja hapa kama niko na shida. And this is the person who does not even know that there is a school that is called
Kumoni.
or Somba down here. He doesn't know. So that is why we are saying union is not being felt. Number three.
Number 3.
The current branch office is so divided to an extent that they cannot unite teachers. Union is about 3 things. It is unity of its members, advocacy for its members, welfare for its members. If you cannot unite just 10 or 13 people, how do you want to tell me that you can unite over 3,000 members?
Okay, Bwana Festus.
Yes.
Your position when you una aspire na the
aspiring
reason
the
for aspiring the
position
same
of
position.
organizing secretary. Yeah.
Why the position?
Okay, before I expressed my interest in this position of organizing secretary, I'm a member. I want to say that I'm a bona fide member of KUPPET Union, Migori branch. I've been following the KUPPET politics in our branch, and through online platforms, I discovered that we are given a raw deal. Actually, before, teachers did not know more about the union. Thanks for the for the advent of smartphones, where teachers at the moment can interact freely in social media platforms. Through social media platforms, I've met a lot of grievances from teachers indicating that they are suffocated, they can't breathe. So as a candidate, I looked at the positions that are available in our union, and I realized that the best position I can serve as a candidate is the position of organizing secretary. I will tell you why. One, I am an ICT enthusiast. I love ICT. And one problem that our branch faces is a lack of transparency. Actually, there has been a lot of issues pertaining to lack of transparency. As we speak, there has been a protest that our union has secured a piece of land somewhere around Nyabisawa or Moisuba, a 50 by 100 plot costing 1.68 million shillings. Why? That is so inflated. It means there is someone who is taking advantage and misappropriating union funds just because members are not aware. So as the organizing secretary, I felt, how best can we make members aware of what is happening in our union? I felt we should have a working website. A working website, if we have it in place, then dissemination of information will just come automatically. Members will know their membership numbers. Actually, as we speak, quite a number, actually like 98% of the members do not know their membership numbers. But which is something that should be known by everybody. All members will be able to know their membership numbers. Two, if we have a working website, then if they have projects, for instance, they are talking of some funny KUPPET center that they want to realize in the next dispensation. I'm wondering if they could only, within a span of 5 years, they could only afford to buy a piece of land which is 50 by 100 meters. So I'm wondering how they are going to attain a KUPPET center, a multi-billion shillings, within the next 5 years, because he has been quoted saying a number of times that he only needs one term, then thereafter he will proceed to go and vie as the Secretary General, National Secretary General. So I'm wondering if they could only secure a piece, that piece of land within 5 years. How sure are they that within the next 5 years they will have a KUPPET center?
Umetaja kwamba kulikuwa na pesa zilitumika vibaya.
Exactly.
Management of funds.
Exactly.
Kwa hivyo mliwasilisha malalamishi haya
Many
katika
times.
sekta husika.
Many times. Actually, even yesterday, we had a team that we sent there. There is an aspirant, one of us, who is aspiring for the position of vice chairman in the name of chairman in the name of John Kennedy. He went there with a team to go and find out how our funds are being used at the branch level. And they discovered that there has been a lot of misappropriation of funds. And whenever they wanted the financial transactions, documents that support, actually one thing that even made them to go mad is the idea that that very piece of land has been fenced at a tune of 500,000. Honestly.
Just a minute. Lilian. Tupeleke pole pole. You asked as a Christian.
Okay.
Why do you want to remove these guys from the office? I had only given you one. I said that union is about how many issues?
3.
I only talked about
One.
where they have failed. Number 2, they have failed on advocacy. As we speak today, I want to give you an example of a colleague teacher who is serving interdiction, and this is the 3rd year, almost the 4th year serving interdiction, with 3 interdiction letters. That is not normal. The first interdiction letter was issued to this teacher on 12th of July 2017. The second one was issued 6 months later, and another one again after 6 months. Up to date, the teacher is having interdiction. This is happening at a time when the issues that are causing these teachers interdiction are things that are very simple, that can be discussed at some level and sorted out. Then the executive secretary is called, say, you just go and pick your interdiction letter, I'm coming. Which advocate is this that is telling you, go and be charged first, then come back to? That is why we are saying that they must go home. A teacher is interdicted just because of some very small issues that he fielded an eligible player in sports. Well, it is an offense. But this is something that should not take a teacher home. It shouldn't take a teacher home. This teacher needs just some advice that next time, Mwalimu, don't field an eligible player. And if he can accept and sign probably somewhere that I will not do it, then why do you interdict?
Kidogo mwalimu, so watazamaji wetu wangependa kujua, labda ningependa kusikia kutoka kwake Moses na Caro.
No, before you proceed, you asked why do we feel that we are the best candidate in the next election. I've just given you one that I'm offering my ICT expertise to ensure that transparency is realized.
She has not asked me that question.
Yeah, I want to go to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah. We, just as my friend Boro had said, unionism involves 3 things: unity, advocacy, and welfare. I want to fall under advocacy. Lillian, teachers have been left alone.
Just as my colleague has mentioned, we have been left alone. And if we are not very careful, a time will come that teachers will be oppressed to an extent that they will be doing exactly what they are required to do without questioning. Actually, just the other day, I was like, where did our dignity go? Immediately we were told to come back and reopen the schools. Some of the teachers were instructed to clean even the classrooms. The teachers were turned to be non-teaching support staff. Something that is not right, because when I'm not trained to clean a classroom, I am trained to teach. So if you go and find teachers with that all respect that the community gives the teachers, then you find a teacher sweeping the compound, a teacher cleaning the classroom, then you start wondering, where did we go wrong? So some of these things we must talk about them, and if we really want to make these changes that we are talking about, we must have great men and women who can speak loudly and can pronounce themselves on these issues. We've just talked about stagnation, we've talked of poor medical scheme. These are things that cannot change if we don't have a voice that can be heard. I'm happy tonight, we are being watched all over the world. At least somewhere we are being heard, and that is what we want. We want someone to speak about these issues that are affecting teachers, and that is what we call advocacy. We don't want a scenario where a teacher dies of COVID-19, then it goes without being mentioned. Yet we have a union. What is the work of a union? A union should ensure that the teachers' interests are protected at all times, at all levels. The moment things are just happening and there's no one to question, then teachers will be turned to be anything the government wants. We want teachers to be given the respect that they deserve. I don't want to hear, like now, we are told that by next year, the government is planning to have a retirement benefit scheme for the civil servants. And we are told that 7.5% of our basic salary will be deducted and deposited in that scheme. Honestly speaking, these are the same teachers that are suffering and are complaining about low pay. How do you expect? What is 7.5% of my basic salary? That is a lot of money. If that is deducted, how hopeless will I be? That is why I'm saying, as Obonyo Festus, I'm appealing to teachers of Migori to elect guys that can speak, that can defend them to the last sweat.
I hope they have heard you. Na sasa watazamaji wetu wa LTV Kenya wanauliza, na ningependa kusikia jibu kutoka kwako Bwana Moses na Bikaro. Wangependa kujua mbona mnafikiri the current officers have failed, the current officers rather.
Thank you again, Lillian. The current leadership, branch leadership has really failed. And if there is anybody anywhere who feels that they have not failed, they have their own reservations. First, on advocacy issues, where a teacher has a problem and they refer you back to your tormentor. You know, your employer is a capitalist. Our employer is a capitalist. They would rather like your work, and they would rather like your work without pay. They would rather prefer that you do everything that you are doing without committing them. the current branch leadership has also failed to voice the concerns of teachers, especially even on this medical scheme. Nobody talks on this COVID thing. Nobody speaking. They expect AKELLO Misori to speak there, and that voice becomes the voice of the grassroots, which is wrong. Just address the media and tell them to do what we want to do. Another thing where this branch leadership has failed is to protect and to maybe advance the job safety for those who are working in hardship areas like Nyatike. We are all aware of how teachers there are really suffering. Yeah. So all the hardship allowance had been scrapped off, right? Nobody speaking. You will be surprised that a branch executive secretary talks about building a university for Nyatike. When Nyatike is asking them, why don't you do this for us? Why don't you liaise with the major stakeholders in the education, even the community leaders, to pile pressure on the government, on the TSC to reintroduce hardship allowance? Nobody speaks for them. Here we have township allowances for the schools that are within town, like Migori, within Migori town, schools like Adika, Nyabisawa, just to mention but a few. If you go to Kuria region, schools like which one was that? Moinyabohanse is no longer enjoying the township allowance, right? Here in Rongo, we deserve. Wendo, we deserve. Sorry, we deserve. Those are towns. These are the things that teachers want to hear about. Again, for the branch, we do our BBF. Despite the fact that we are for the Mwalimu Sacco, despite the fact that we are covered by 1 minute, so that when a principal member dies, we enjoy or we get some benefits. For us, we are committed to contribute 100 shillings per month. That brings us to a total of 1,200 per year by every member, of which an exercise that they have not marketed very properly, they have never packaged it very properly for all members to join. Migori has got a membership potential of close to 5,000, yet we only have 1,900 members. Now, of all these members, I'm informed that only around 600 are subscribing to this BBF, right? Now, if a member goes through maybe a loss due to death or a family member or something like that, for a principal member, imagine a teacher, if God forbid I pass on today, what will go to my wife is only 20 shillings. 20,000, sorry. 20,000 shillings. That one cannot even buy a coffin for me. Cannot. So, and to cover up that, they again task the members to do online contribution, which again, the list of the membership that have contributed.
Okay, have you aired this?
Severally. And whenever I hear that, they say, mwanaume ni efforts.
Nikaro tafadhali.
Just to wind up kidogo. Okay. Just 1 minute. You know, these are funny issues. When we get into this BBF scheme, what informed our idea in the first place was to leverage members from this frequent asking of contribution, right? Now, are we now solving anything? That's why I'm saying the money that was meant to bury the dead is the one that is being saved. They call it, they're saving it so as to buy land. You know, that is being ultra-vires, right?
Just before
so those are some of the changes we want to see, because the money that we contribute there per year, even with just 600 only, has got a potential of giving members 100,000 and above, and not asking them to do online contribution. Maybe that one we can take back to the staff room and friends to run such things. Thank you.
Lillian, this is a very critical issue, that of welfare.
Exactly.
A very critical issue. And that is where I was coming to. And I love the way Moses has put it. But I think there's something I want to add. The current branch office called teachers in an annual General Assembly of 2017 and requested members to contribute 100 shillings per month towards a benevolent fund, burial benevolent fund. Well, teachers agreed that they were going to contribute this fund. After some time, we are told we are only receiving 70 shillings per person towards this scheme. You said fine. Where is the 30 shillings going per person, per teacher, per month? Oh, that it is a service charge. What have you? I did a letter to the Teacher Service Commission asking for more information about this issue. The reply was very clear. 100 shillings per teacher is remitted to the union every month as it is deducted from their pay slips. Now the question is, where is the 30 shillings per teacher per month going?
Karo, tusifungie hoja za Karo kidogo.
No, this thing is very important, madam. Just very important. Then they are telling us that it is a service charge by the Teacher Service Commission. Say fine. Now you have not given us any answer. We are teachers, and there is no teacher who is not serving any loan. If a teacher is serving a loan from a bank or a SACCO, there is no third-party transaction. Transaction charges. It is not there. So that is a lie, and that is why we are saying that these guys are fleecing teachers instead of developing us, and that is why we are saying they must go.
Karo.
Thank you, Lillian. Basically, what my colleagues are saying is that a group of individuals have come together to fleece teachers. They don't have the interest of the teacher at heart. If they did, then the situation would have been different. Imagine, just like Mr. Ayer had said, a teacher dies and a mere 20,000 shillings is contributed from the scheme, the BBF scheme, towards to the family to carry out the burial procedures and everything. At the same time, another parallel contribution is run by the same teachers who are contributing this 100 shillings towards the scheme to give this teacher a befitting burial. Now come to imagine of this, that these same individuals are the ones that even go ahead to spend these monies that have been contributed. They can come to Carol's home when Carol dies, and they look at the house, they say, Carol, her house is not complete. We can use this money to fix the windows. We can use this money to fix the doors. We can use this money to make the toilet or the pit latrine. Surely, for crying out loud, how does that help the individual who has died? Maybe my children are here. They don't have any other person to take them to school. Yet, these are the teachers, my colleagues, this is a welfare that should be taking care of my family when I'm not around. Now come to think about this. It means that we've been contributing a lot of money to an extent that the money is so much that it has not been utilized and is still in the kitty. to make these guys feel that now, because we have excesses, why can't we buy land? This was not in the budget, but now we can use this money for the BBF, of the welfare, to buy land for the general welfare of the teachers. Now, one thing that they don't put into consideration is that not all teachers are in the welfare. Just a number, around 600. Now, all the other teachers who are not in the welfare are going to benefit from the monies that have been contributed by just a portion of teachers. It is not fair.
Okay.
For real, it is not fair.
Mine is a phrase. Just a phrase.
Okay, fine.
I'm saying this. If there will be no death in this branch, you will not know KUPPET. You only know KUPPET because of death of teachers.
They write big English.
They will write very big English like
Okay, Lillian.
And before, please, Festus, the kind of arrangements that happen during death are so discriminate. There are lesser teachers, there are more important teachers. When they die is when you realize is Festus a bigger teacher or a smaller teacher, by the levels of contributions that are carried out by these officials.
Okay, Lillian, I want to say that I've been one person who has been against online contribution led by our branch officials. The reason is very simple, and I want to put it briefly. You will find that when I'm ill and I need a medical help or aid, these guys will decide and keep quiet, and they will wait until I'm dead. I'm talking of something that happened recently in our branch. There was a teacher, whom I'm not going to mention her name, that appealed the members to help her put her medical bill. The message, the appeal message was shared in our social WhatsApp forums. And I want to tell you, it is sad. The number of members that contributed towards her medical bill were very few, to an extent that the money could not go over 50,000. Then, when the lady passed on, the office took over a case and initiated online contribution. Can you believe that online contribution raised the money in the tunes of 200 and it was 130?
No, over 200,000.
Over 200,000. Actually, it was over 200,000. Honestly, are we genuine in the first place with such online contribution? Why must we wait until a colleague dies to respond?
Today there is a teacher umepungua kidogo, so ningependa kwa sababu
today there is a teacher who is admitted, and there is a WhatsApp group that he has called for contribution. Some of these KUPPET officials at the branch level have even left the group. I'm telling you. So that is what. But if they will hear and God forbid that the teacher is dead, the whole of them will be here tomorrow. I'm telling you for free.
So tukimaliza kwa sababu muda hauko pande yetu. So ningependa nyinyi wawili kwa sababu ni contestants. Ningependa mpeane few remarks, kamera yenu ndio ile, muweze kutaja kile ambacho mtafanya katika sekta hii ya elimu. Kila mmoja wenu dakika 3.
Okay, thank you so much.
Dakika sekunde.
Lillian, for giving us that parting shot. Festus Obonyo, a teacher at Nyara Secondary School, aspirant for organizing secretary, has 3 main things that he would wish to happen during his journey in the coming dispensation. The first one, I've just talked of a working website. We really need a working website to help interactions between the office and her members. Two, I'm planning that we have what we call a rotational BGA. As we speak, all branch general assemblies are held at Migori. Yet we have other sub-counties such as Rongo sub-county, Uriri sub-county, Awenda, and maybe Nyatike. We want a rotational BGA so that every member of KUPPET can feel part of the union. Next, I'm meditating of having what we call BGA allowance, attendance allowance. Actually, the money that is used, the budget that is used to organize the BGAs is in the tunes of 600,000. I had sat down and worked out a budget, and I realized that if we have a branch general assembly, we can afford to give each member who attends these meetings 500 shillings in form of BGA attendance allowance. One, this will help it will motivate members to come for these BGAs, because we need to share with them so that they get to know exactly what is happening in our branches. Then, lastly, as teacher advocate, Obonyo Festus is one person who is vocal, who is brave, who is courageous, and can articulate issues affecting teachers without any fear of intimidation. I want to appeal to the teachers of Migori County to consider my candidature come 2021, because in me they can have their hopes revived. Thank you so much.
Mr. Ken, just 3 seconds, please.
3 seconds.
1, 2, 3.
They are done. Okay, fine. Thank you very much first for the time that you've given us. I believe we've sent some message to our colleagues out there.
Exactly.
And even those who are in the education sector as stakeholders. I'll be very straight to my point. Number one, I'll protect the teacher's payslip. Because they say a teacher is a teacher here today. But tomorrow, the teacher will be in Bungoma, Marsabit, Mombasa. The only thing he will carry from Migori is his payslip. That is why we are saying, now that KUPPET is a union, that is a non-profit making body, the only thing that I have to protect for the teacher is his slip. That is number one. Number two, as the teacher's advocate, I will not choose on what or where to protect the teacher. Whenever a teacher will be having any issue, disciplinary or whatever of that such kind, I'll be ready to protect the teacher. There is a famous quote that kula mama wacha mtoto. I'm saying that is choosing on what to do. As an advocate, I will be a lawyer for anybody in the name of a teacher who has committed any offense as a teacher. 3, the welfare of teachers. We will take seriously the issue of welfare of teachers. The municipality allowance that was enhanced in some schools, we are going to insist and do what is within our means to ensure that it is returned to those institutions. It is very painful to reduce the salary of an employee downwards. It is always that salary is increased. So a teacher who has been working in Migori Boys, for example, who has been earning over 12,000 shillings in a lower job group, and now because the school has been mapped outside the municipality, the allowance has come down. You can imagine how you have to adjust
Okay.
your budget.
No, Moses, talk to the teachers. Talk to the union.
Thank you so much once again. I want to thank you for inviting us for this talk show. I want to appeal to teachers in Migori and across the nation that KUPPET members deserve more. We deserve better. I want to mobilize and again appeal to all of you that you subscribe to the idea of change, so that we fight for ourselves. We have the will, we have the zeal, we have the commitment. We can fight this stagnation. We can fight this inefficient medical cover, and we can fight against malnourished welfare services on our members. This I believe. Thank you so much.
Caro.
Thank you very much, Lillian. And thank you once again for inviting us for this session. It has been a good one, and we hope that we will have more of this in the near future. To all the teachers outside there in Migori County, I want us to remember that change starts with me, change starts with you. So let us come together and support the change agenda, so that we can have a formidable force to bring the change that we deserve. It is not good when a teacher's welfare is not put into consideration, because someone somewhere is so comfortable because they are not feeling the itch in their medical cover, neither are they feeling the itch when a calamity befalls them. So I urge all the teachers to subscribe to the change agenda, so that we can pull forces together. Thank you very much.
Asanteni sana walimu, nimefurahia mahojiano pamoja na I can't wait for another session like this. Na kwa watazamaji wetu wa LTV Kenya, asante sana kwa kuungana nasi. Kumbuka kila siku ya Alhamisi kunradhi, mahojiano huwa moto. Leo tumewasha moto, wakati ujao tunachemsha maji, wakati ujao yanatokota. Nimekuwa wako Lillian Oneo, na kumbuka kwamba unaweza kufuata mahojiano haya pamoja na mengine mengi, pamoja na mahojiano mengine ambayo tunakuandalia katika sehemu zijazo, katika mitandao ya kijamii. Katika Facebook ni LTV Kenya, katika Instagram ni LTV/Kenya1, na YouTube ni LTV1.